I'm sure you know there are 3 different camera angles you can use. However, do you know when to change them to give you the greatest advantage? After this video, not only will you know when to change them, but stay tuned till the end and I'll show you how to do it without taking your thumbs off the sticks. Welcome to episode 2 of Beginner's Guide, where my goal is to help new and struggling players improve in Star Wars Battlefront 2. A lot of people asked about camera angles and when to change it. Like the last video, this information is mainly aimed at newer or struggling players. However, if that doesn't describe you, you may still find some of this information useful, especially near the end when we cover button mapping on controllers. If you find any information in this video useful, hit that like button so I know that this helped you. Also, if you can hit that subscribe and notification button, I would love your support. I don't have a good segue here since I write these at midnight. So let's just move on into camera angles. In Battlefront 2, you have 3 different camera angles you can use, at least for normal troopers, and they are first person and third person angles, one over each shoulder. You can use whatever camera you feel most comfortable with. However, if you want the most amount of information and a tactical advantage, you want to be using third person view. Third person allows you to see more of the battlefield and around corners, where if you're in first person, you won't be able to see around the corner until you actually turn it. Now, there are times that it may be best to switch to first person, like if you're trying to hold a very tight angle. These pixel peaks don't really matter as much in Battlefront 2 as in other games like Rainbow Six Siege. You can do them if you want, but you will need to be in first person view to do it accurately. So when it comes to which shoulder you want to be looking over in third person view, either the left or the right, you want to think about the closest wall and where it is to you and where it'll be when you turn the corner, enter a room or a doorway. You want the camera to be on the opposite shoulder of the closest wall. So I know that sounds confusing, but watch this clip and you'll see what I mean. The wall is on my right hand side, so I want the camera to be on my left shoulder, giving me a larger field of view to my left and a smaller field of view to my right. Since there's a wall there on the right hand side, no one is going to be coming at me from that side. When you come up to a doorway on the closest wall, as long as your camera is on the opposite shoulder, you'll be able to see around the corner sooner than if the camera is on the shoulder closest to the wall. Now, if I turn around, the closest wall is going to be on my left, so I want to switch the camera to my right hand shoulder. Every time you go through a door or turn a corner, you want to think before you get there, which side is the closest wall going to be on, and then switch your camera angle accordingly. Now you may be thinking, I'm in a small hall or corridor. The walls are equal distance. When you're in a corridor, you want to be sure that you're never standing or running down the middle of the hallway. You want to be closer to either side, either the left or right, depending on which direction you're going to turn at the end of that hallway. If you're in the middle of the hall, you'll be seen sooner by someone turning the corner. If you're on the far left or the far right, however, the other player will have to turn the corner more in order to see you, which cuts down on the advantage that they gain by being in third person. But we'll get more into that when we cover movement in the next coming weeks. Now, when you're under fire, you don't need to be changing your camera angle, but in order to keep up your advantage, you want to keep the closest wall rule that we covered in mind. If you're strafing back and forth, and if you do not change your angle, you may lose out on some tactical information, like if another target has entered the engagement, or if the person you're engaged with has fled completely. In the coming weeks, we'll be going over game sense as well, and if you manage to keep the camera on the correct shoulder during a firefight, it will help quite a lot there. However, this is more advanced, so don't stress it if it starts costing you engagements, since I would put game sense as more of an intermediate level instead of beginner level. For now, if you're struggling, just work on keeping the camera on the correct shoulder as you move around the map, and you should start seeing a lot better kill to death ratio. Now, in order to keep the camera on the correct shoulder easily, I changed my settings to make the camera button easier to hit. By default, the camera button is the down arrow on the D-pad for the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure on the other 2 systems, but either way, I'm sure you can do what I'm about to show you, at least for on Xbox. For PC, it's a lot easier. You can change all of your buttons and mappings in game, but for us poor console players, it does take a little bit more work. Since in order to hit the down arrow on the D-pad, you will need to move your right thumb off of the stick, unless you use the claw method, but more power to you if you can do that. It's not ideal to be taking your thumbs off the stick all the time in order to change angles or to be hitting other buttons, so at this point, you'll need to make a choice. Do you want to keep it easier to access your roll or easier to access your melee? Take a second to think about it, but in this, I choose to lose melee over roll. If you need more time, you can choose later and just come back to this if you forget how to do what I'm about to show you. So if you choose to keep roll accessible, your controller layout needs to be on default. If you choose to keep melee accessible, your controller layout in-game needs to be on alternate. If you're left-handed, you can use the southpaw versions of these two. It shouldn't be much different. Once you've changed your in-game settings, you'll need to go to your system settings, select accessibility, and from there go down to button assignments and enable them. Once enabled, go to custom button assignments, and it's going to bring up the controller mapping for the whole system. Any changes here are going to be system-wide, so if you play a different game and this is still on, the buttons will be wherever you change them to now. I'll show you how to quickly turn it on and off here in a second, but from here you'll want to change the down arrow to R3, which will change R3 automatically to the down arrow. When you go back to the button assignments screen, it'll show the changes that you've made on the mapping. As you can see here, I've changed R3 and down arrow on the D-pad, and I flipped my L1 and L2 and my R1 and R2, but I'll cover why when we go into settings here in the next couple videos. So now that you've made your changes, when you hit R3, which was either melee or roll, depending on which layout you have in game for your settings, the system will register that as hitting the down arrow on the D-pad, which was the camera angle. So now instead of taking your thumbs off the sticks in order to change your camera angle, you just have to press down on the right stick, which is R3, and the angle will change to the opposite shoulder. If you hold R3 down, it will put you into first person view, and if you press it again, it'll take you back to third person. This may be a little tricky at the start, since you'll find yourself holding down the R3 button at times when you don't mean to, but the more you play, the more comfortable you'll become with it. If you don't want these changes to affect anything outside of Battlefront 2, you just need to make some changes to your quick menu on your PlayStation. Hold down the PS button and the side menu will come up. If you look at the bottom, you see Customize. From there, under Menu Items, make sure Accessibility is checked. Now when you pull up the side menu again, you'll see Accessibility listed. Select Accessibility, and then you can turn on and off your button assignments without having to go back into the systems menu. From here, if you don't want to use the mappings that you've changed for anything outside of Battlefront 2, you can turn the button assignments off here. If you go into Battlefront 2 and you have them turned off because you're watching a movie or something, you can turn them back on. I hope that you have found some of this information useful, and if so, please hit that like button so that way I know we're keeping things on point, and then subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. Remember, new videos are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and stop by my live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central, and I can answer any questions you have in real time. In the comment section down below, let me know if there's anything in particular that you're struggling with. This is a safe space, so even if you feel that it's a dumb thing to be struggling with, I guarantee you someone else is having the same issues. If I can make a video on it, I will, but either way, I can at least try to answer in the comment section as well. If you're just along for the ride, tell me if you think the Han Solo movie is going to be any good or not. I'm a little concerned about whether or not it's actually going to be decent since they changed directors midstream, but we'll see. If you're on the PlayStation, you can join my PlayStation community. It's RedWolf72ps4, and there we can talk and party up for a few matches, or you can find me on Twitter at RedWolf72ps4. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you in game.